All right. All right, what's going on, guys, girls, whoever's watching? There's a interesting, I guess you could call it topic or debate of whether or not you should go to a CDL school to get your CDL, or should you just go to one of the mega carriers and have one of the mega carriers, put you through their program and get you a CDL. So I'll talk about both of those, but the first thing I want to talk about is if you choose to go to a CDL school, that's going to cost you out of pocket, unless you can get, because there are grants available for that. Not many. I don't know of anybody who's actually been able to benefit from it, but they are available. But that's going to cost you money out of your pocket. If you go to a company, not only do they train you, but they pay you while you're being trained. Now, it's not the full rate of what your normal salary would be, but you're making like sometimes $700, $800 a week, which is better than going to a CDL school and not making anything. You're actually paying money. And so here are my pros and cons for each one. So I'm going to start with if you choose to go to a school. If you choose to go to a school, that's going to be money out of your pocket. You're going to have to come up with $3,000 or $4,000, depending on which one you go and where you live. It could be even more. That's going to come out of pocket. Now, the most efficient way to get your CDL would be to go for the entire, I think it's like a 3-week course, which would have you, if you're fully employed right now, you're going to have to take off work or use vacation time or whatever the case may be. Or some schools have the weekend option. That is what I did. I went to a school and did the weekend option. I do not recommend doing the weekend option, because in order to do the weekend option, they have to do it, only on the weekends. So what you're doing is you're stretching out your training for like almost 2 months or more, because they have to do it just on those 2 days out the week. And when you're learning to do something for the first time, you need to be doing that repetition. You need to be doing that regularly, not just having a whole work week go by and then you come back to it. If you're learning to drive the truck, you need to be in that truck every day until you get familiar with it. Because I'm gonna tell you what happens when you take a break off. When you take off like that for those 5 days, you're kind of rusty all over again. And I know it's not long, but when you're doing something for the first time, you need to be like immersed in it. And so I don't recommend doing the weekend thing. Now, when it comes to going to the school and just going straight through the 3 weeks, like I said, you're not being paid, and you've paid the school the money, right? So you've paid the school the money up front to take this class. There's really no incentive after you've made your payment for them to really excel and make sure that you are really, trained properly, because they already got your money. And so if they do not such a good job training you, when it comes time to take your test, if you don't pass your test the first try, you're going to have to pay more money to do a retest. And in my case, when I went to a school, like I said, I did the weekends. And then after doing weekends, I finished it, and then they gave me a test date that was a month and a half after my last day of class. So you're talking about being rusty. That they're saying they were overbooked, or not overbooked, there's just so many people. Well, I just feel like, to me, the school is incentivized to get as many people into those seats as possible, regardless if they have the scheduling to accommodate them when it comes time to taking your test, you know. And that's why I don't know if schools, now I'm not saying all schools, but I know particularly the school that I went to Daly, and outside of Atlanta, and it was not a good school. This was like, and just like how you go to a restaurant now and everybody's like, oh, we're hiring, I think they were going through the same thing. Short staff. I mean, we'd have one instructor sometimes for the entire class, and you know, you have 4 different stations where, you know, you're learning different techniques. One instructor cannot facilitate all 4 areas. So you over there, it's like we were teaching ourselves pretty much, you know. So you got newbies teaching newbies how to drive, and that was just not adequate as far as learning. So as you could tell from my stance, I don't particularly think going to a school, unless it has a reputation for being amazing, I just don't. Now, if you go to a mega carrier like your Swifts, your, you know, TMCs or Mavericks, or, you know, any of those mega carriers that have, you know, thousands of trucks, if not, you know, hundreds of thousands of trucks, like a major size, a big fleet, they have an incentive for you being trained, because they have a lot of trucks and they need butts in those seats. So when it comes to training you, they're going to do everything absolutely possible to make sure you pass your test on test day, because they need you to take this job so you can go out there and start filling their seats so that the trucks are not just sitting in the yard. So I think a mega carrier, they definitely have an incentive to making sure you obtain your CDL. Now, a lot of people say, oh, but if you go with a mega carrier, you're going to have to sign a year contract. Well, here's the deal. Not many companies are going to hire you with less than a year of training anyway. So if you're going to go that route to a mega carrier, pick one that you like, or that you want to work for, because to be honest, you may end up liking the company and staying there a year anyway. So not only did you get your CDL without having to come out of pocket, this is a job that you actually like, so you don't have a problem with staying there. Well, the problem is a lot of people pick these companies without doing their research, and then when it comes time to actually drive for them, they're like, oh man, this company, they don't look out for you, they don't do this and that. Well, if you do your research and go to a company that has a reputation for taking care of its drivers, you're not going to run into that problem. So when it comes to those two, like I said, a company has an invested interest in making sure that you pass your test. They need you to pass your test. School, not necessarily, they don't necessarily need you to pass because you've already paid your money. To be honest, they actually get paid more if you fail your test, because then you have to pay more money to take a retest. So that's just my opinion. If I could do it all over again, I would have just went to a mega carrier and just had them train me and pay me while they're training me. You know what I mean? So, and even if you do decide to leave the company before a year, the way a lot of companies do is each month that you're with the company, they take part of your training cost. You know what I mean? So, but like I said, you were being paid while you were being trained. So technically, not saying technically that that they paid you, but the amount of money isn't the same. Like $4,000, and they paid you, over the course of the 3 weeks, they paid you $1,600 or $2,400. You know what I mean? To train. So you get what I'm saying? It's not like you went there and you just completely were out of pocket, and but you get what I'm saying? Like, you actually were making income while being trained. So that's paid training. And a lot of times they'll feed you put you in a hotel. Like I said, not all companies are the same. Make sure you do your research, because I've heard some horror stories about some of these places. But the company that I work for, I actually went through orientation alongside with the guys who were actually training to get their CDL. And I mean, we ate good every single day. Every single day we ate good. So they are definitely taking care of you while you're being trained. But with my company as well that I'm working for, they actually take care of the equipment. They take care of you as a driver. You know what I mean? It's not like they put you out there in a truck and you're like, all right, figure it out. You know, I've heard stories where guys are getting like 1 week of training with a trainer, and then they're like, all right, man, here you go. This is your load. You got to pick it up. And this guy has had very limited exposure to a lot of the things. So when it comes down to it, just do your research. Make sure that this company has a reputation for, you know, being fair, treating their drivers right. A lot of people want to chase the dollar, and they go after these companies that promise this minimum payment. Oh, we'll make sure you make X amount of dollars per week. But they're not going to tell you that they work you like a dog. You know what I mean? So when it comes to learning, yeah, everybody needs money, but what's more important is learning and get quality experience, because you can take that quality experience anywhere. You know what I mean? So that's just how I see it. If I could do it all over again, I would have went to a mega carrier and had them train me and pay for it. And like I said, you want to get, you know, a year behind the wheel to really feel comfortable. So what is the, you know, it's not such a bad a bad deal to, you know, sign a year commitment, you know. So that's just what I say. If it was me, I go with the mega carrier. And unless you know personally of a great school, nah, I'm sorry. I'm just going to have to say that the mega carrier has an invested interest in your success. So, like I said, man, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed this view from behind the wheel in West Virginia. And I'll see you guys on the next video. I hate saying that because that's what everybody says. I'm not going to see you guys will see me on the next video. This probably makes more sense, right? Actually, you didn't even see me in this video, so I guess, you know what? I'm just going to end it right here.